Hello, everyone, and all praises to the Most High God of Israel. This is Aquaria Amethyst. I hope you all been well and blessed. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube. Um, in the video I'm about to make, it's been on me, in my spirit to make this video for a while now. And I just want to get it off my chest and just, reflect on certain things that I've been, observing, concerning the times that we're living in and how we, the remnant, have evolved, step by step. I don't want to be formal right now. I'm not a formality type of woman, so I want to just get straight to the point. Because I noticed in the community, on social media, especially with this Kirk guy. I ain't even forgot this man's name. um, Charlie Kirk, and I noticed that like when he had died, people are sitting there talking about, oh, where are the Epstein files, and um, don't let all this other stuff going on in the background distract you from the Epstein files. There's some talk that he was actually pushing for them to be brought to the forefront. And I'm just like wondering if people have figured it out already. I've always been skeptical about this BS Epstein file. Now, supposedly back in 2020, 2021, the Epstein files were released to the public and then they were pulled out or whatever may have you. They're not going to reveal the Epstein list. They may, I feel like they revealed a portion of it because they're following the law of karmic protocol. And that's just another thing I want to get into. The line of the law of karma, that little line of protocol they go to in order to, like, avoid karma, that doesn't work anymore because they're no longer in their blessing. It never had anything to do with the law of karma to begin with. They were playing out a cycle while the children of Israel, our people, were in captivity, right? Um, so that list is not going to be revealed. That full list is not going to be revealed into the one the world knows as Jesus comes back here. CI Atlas, that's another thing I want to get into. I named this video Jesus Christ and the Epstein Files for a reason. Because I'd say a couple of years ago or so, me and my little sister Sue-Ann, we were always having these conversations among each other. And I told her that when Jesus comes back here, some people call him Yeshua, Yahweh Shai, Yeshaya, whatever may have you. Either way, although all his names and titles work. Whatever name you decide to call in Hebrew and English, demons hate that name and they flee when they hear it. Point blank, period. That's another thing we need to stop arguing about among our people is, oh, what names should we call? People been using the name of Jesus for, he took ownership of that name. Okay, my people don't remember my real name. Okay, then it's Jesus now. So I don't think y'all understand. Some people understand how this works with how he took ownership of that name. He's taking ownership of the names that people are speaking, or whatever may have you. So we need to stop the petty little debates about names. Just like some people still want to call God Jehovah. Okay, I don't argue about that stuff. I call him Ahia Shah Ahia. That's his name for me. That's the name he gave Moses. I didn't see him give him no other name, so that's the name I call him. Abba Ahia Shah Ahia. And when I call that name, I can feel his spirit, literally feel his spirit. It's something about saying that I am, I am. And notice that celebrities do this. Look at what Beyonce does. I am Sasha Fierce. That I am. They know what that, how powerful that name is as well. So, even Kanye West, I am Kanye West, or whatever may have you. But I I think I had covered a little bit of this in another video. I'm just adding more to this, I guess. Adding more to that, I guess. Um, when he gets back here, he's going to expose all these people. Your Epstein file is when the Gentile nations are going to mourn when he returns. It says in his word that all nations are going to mourn when Yeshua, Jesus, comes back here, which goes to show the contradictions concerning a pre-tribulation rapture. If all of these people, notice most people in the world like to play off and like they're these, Christians or whatever may have you, and and to me, if you use common sense, this is how my zodiac is Aquarius, so we're like very analytical people. So if we're going to be dealing with this so-called 7-year tribulation, and Jesus' return, why is it that the world is going to mourn when he get back here if we are living in an antichrist system where we have to use market of beasts and all this type of stuff, as if this hasn't been going on already? If you look at it, we already are in a beast system. They created, like, I remember as a teenager, the Left Behind series. With Michael J. Fox, I believe, was in it. I believe he was in the original Left Behind series that came out. It was a 3-part movie. It was a trilogy movie. It was a trilogy that came out, and it was like they projected this. And now that where I'm at with my wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of things, and studying more, of these records or whatever may have you, and just putting two and two together, I see what they've done. I see the games they play, and the game that has been played on us, and the game that is continuously being played on people. And there's just gonna just be people that will never wake up to this until Yeshua comes back. And that's when you're going to see the Epstein files, because he is going to expose everybody. And he showed me premonitions of this. And I remember I had shared on here a conversation I actually had with him. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Ruach HaKadosh. She must be giving me a download. We'll see what she's trying to say through me in a minute. Thank you. I remember a conversation that I was having with him, because there's a lot of people who do not like acknowledge Jesus or don't believe in him. And I asked him, like, does that bother you? Like, when they talk about you like that? And he said to me, he said, no, it doesn't. It don't bother me at all. He said, I don't care what their problem they have with me. They gonna have to worry about the problem I have with them when I get back here. Those was his exact words. And it gave me a glimpse of this Savior that's spoken of in scripture, that goes into how he's coming with fire, breathing out, like fire coming out of his mouth, and a sword in his hand. It's like Like his answer came off like so gangster. like 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 they're gonna have to worry about me when I get here. I don't care what they think, you know? So when they came back down here, him and the angelic army, because I'm gonna go into CI Atlas. I might have to make another video because I ain't got much space on this phone. That's why I haven't really been, recording things. Um, but when he gets back here, he's gonna be exposing all these people. They're gonna be pulled out of their hiding places. He's going to parade these people, these elites, these people connected to these elites, these celebrities. This is why a lot of them have not died yet, because he's saving them for last brutal exposure. And he's going to force them to reveal everything they've been doing behind closed doors. And a whole world is going to be, wherever you're at in this location, whatever location you're at, you're going to be able to see, because the sky is going to give off this projector of him speaking and of him showing things. And I see the sky with these smaller aircrafts too. When CI Atlas opens up, I had this vision, and that's another thing I'm gonna get into about CI Atlas and how they knew what this thing was the whole time, because, like Big Judah said, this ship showed up. I confirm what he says is the truth, because I remember talking to my sister about UFOs, and now it makes sense about what these UFOs, these so-called UFOs, are. And they've been lying about what they are. CI Atlas always been a thing. That thing literally always showed up when God's people were in peril, when God's people were under captivity of other Gentile nations. This thing showed up. And there's hieroglyphics of this thing. And then they go on like history channels or the sci-fi channel and try to sit there and like paint aliens around these things, so you won't put two and two together and understand what these aircrafts are. They're angelic warships. So when this thing opened up, like I see like a blinking, like it's like bluish whitish lights that's going to come on. Like, and I notice is when it he said he's going to come like a thief in the night. But every time I see his return or get a glimpse of it, a premonition of it, I'm always seeing that it's broad daylight. And, like, it's broad daylight, and then it becomes dark. It's an unusual darkness, though. It's so dark, but yet you can still see. It's really weird. I've never seen anything like this darkness. And then it's like the sky turns different colors. And then I remember the sky, having visions of the sky cracking, like you being able to see cracks in the sky. And I remember seeing hands breaking the sky open, different parts of hands. And I believe these are the hands of the Most High. They have to be the hands of God. And when CI Atlas opens up, when it opens up, I see all the other ships that's with that thing being revealed in the sky, and people are not gonna be able to, like, you're gonna be able to see this. When Christ returned, they said that it's in his word, the world will see it, the whole world will see his return, and then the judgment on these other nations come about. I don't understand if we're going with this whole this pre-tribulation rapture thing, and then they're gonna be people on the earth that somehow like get above the beast system and give their life to Christ. Why is the whole world going to mourn? If you're under a beast system or whatever, and you need saving from these monsters or whatever they're bringing forth, why would you mourn of a savior coming unless you're a part of the judgment he's handing over? All nations are complicit against the children of Israel. I don't understand why y'all want to be against the very people that can help y'all out of these problems, these situations. Just like we said, like Gentiles who are going to cleave unto us. I guess y'all just, it's those Gentiles that are just not meant to cleave on to us, which is okay. Because he that have an ear, let them hear. If you're meant to activate during this time and come with us, you will. This is why I feel like throughout this journey, I have never tried to force people to wake up or tried to convince them to wake up. I gave information, and I may have came across like I was trying to like make them wake up and make them see, but I always spoke in a way where I made sure if a lost sheep come across my information, my videos, my Facebook posts, or whatever social media I use to speak about these things, that my information will activate them. So when I be debating people, trust me, it ain't about you. Unless you a sheep that's stubborn right now. And if my information activates you, so be it. You know, the information that the Most High gives me, you know, but I don't force it. I just speak truth, and whoever accepts it, they accept it, you know? And I try my best to speak in a way where people can understand. And I know I may talk different. I know I may talk all over the place, but I deal with ADHD, or so they say. So, you know, and that's another thing that I want to get into. A lot of people who are in this truth, some of these people who have taken a woke stand, they have this thing where they act like they have it all together. There's still those of us in the truth that are going through life, dealing with real life shit, you know? Like there are those of us who still can't make ends meet. There are those of us who are still dealing with needing to do shadow work, depression, insecurities, one paycheck away from being evicted. And you know, like I feel like the people that I connect with, my soul group, like I'm very relatable to people who are really dealing with real life shit right now. Like people who are in the truth, know the truth, but you ain't rich, you ain't glamorous, you don't make your page pretty or dolled up. Like it ain't about uh anything superficial, which a lot of people like make things too superficial, which most people I don't take serious in the so-called woke community anyway, because a lot of them are set up by the enemy on purpose. You got to use strong discernment. If they're not talking about the children of Israel and what's really going on around that, concerning that, it really don't matter, because everything pertaining to prophecy revolves around us. So the Christian church slamming into Constantine Christians' heads that it doesn't matter, Israel was done away with, that's BS. Because if you felt that way, you wouldn't be upholding the people over there in Israel right now as the people. It only doesn't matter when we claim our forefathers' records, when we claim our identity, and when we demand our land and our resources to come back. They know who we are. They know what CI Atlas is. I never knew the name of this thing, what this ship was. I never had a name for it, but I knew about this ship because it showed up. Like I noticed a pattern. Me and my sister couldn't put our finger on it. It's like, what is it with this thing? Like when they talk about in the word where this thing shows up, and I noticed this thing showed up. You know, it only is talked about in the Bible, in the, you know, the ones that they canonize. Like there is in the other books, but when I read certain things, I could see, I'm a remote viewer, so I could see certain things that happened back then while I'm reading the Word of God. I have that gift, just like I seen in my mind's eye how the 10 plagues took place. I seen that. Or how Sodom and Gomorrah was, well, I couldn't see much of it because nobody was ever meant to see it. But I saw enough where I saw how it started. And they knew about this ship. And they know these lands belong to us. Why do you think they tear it up? Why do you think they make it dirty? Because they're jealous. They are on our land. They know, these Gentile people, they know Psalms 83, they know that they are on lands that don't belong to them. And they know that one day they have to give it back. That's why they never had an issue with showing disrespect to these lands and how they handled these lands. A lot of beautiful animals, a lot of marine life here too. A lot of our animals have gone extinct and they don't care. A lot of plants, a lot of fruits and vegetables that used to grow here and thrive don't grow here no more. A lot of them were shipped off to other places where you think they're indigenous to certain other places, but they really aren't. They're from here. Just like a lot of the animals that you see in Africa were originally over here. That's something else that I had spoken about in the past as well, about but those videos are locked up on my ex-friend's page that I no longer talk to. That's another reason why in the New Age community that I was targeted by a witch coven, because I was making corrections about what they were saying concerning the 144 and how they were bringing false information concerning it. And I said, that's not about an energy. It's about a bloodline that's going to take their land back. And the information I was given in the New Age community would have crumbled a lot of the information that they were given because it was stolen from our forefathers' records. That's why they were targeting me the way they were. And on top of that, a lot of witches and a lot of women in the New Age community, especially unfortunately, are women who are asleep and who have whored themselves off to other gods. They are very male centered. So when you're dealing with kingdom spouses, they become jealous and they'll target you. They'll do spells, they'll do roots to stop unions from taking place. A lot of unions among the children of Israel that don't get talked about enough are supposed to be taking place. And a lot of them, unfortunately, because they didn't catch on like I did, were destroyed. A lot of unions were destroyed. And some of us have to get call in kingdom spouses or placeholders because our originals didn't do the work, or there was spell work that was taking place. If you don't break roots out of your bloodline or off of you and concerning your situations, it can alter your destiny. It can. I've seen what witchcraft can do. It could destroy your life. There are people who have even died behind the attacks of witchcraft, which they tried to kill me. I'm still here by the grace of the Lord. The blood of the Lamb has kept me and this household covered. If y'all still watching my page, y'all have destroyed nothing. So all that for nothing. Imagine y'all spending all that money day in and day out. Like how do y'all find the funds to target several people? And I mean lots of people. Like y'all really target a lot of people. How do y'all have the finances to like spend to put roots in witchcraft on people? That is some crazy work. Y'all could be investing in other stuff. This is why you're miserable, because you've invested in becoming a villain. You've invested in wanting to destroy what other people have because of envy and jealousy. Yeah, unfortunately on this channel, you're going to hear me bring up certain things concerning the New Age a lot because that's where I was when I started on YouTube. It all started with me defending Jesus. And then I woke up to the twin flame connection, and how it all connects to the 144. And there's information that I found out, by being a part of it and finding out what these people are doing. There's a coven. I would say a hive, because when it's more than 12, because 12 make up a coven. There's a hive on here as well. That you got covens and then you got a hive. So I was dealing with several of them, few of them that I thought were my friends, but that's okay. I'm not sweating it anymore because I let the Most High handle that however He chooses to do so. But to the other nations and the people who are in power and who are in the higher ups, the law of karma doesn't, work for y'all anymore. It was never about the law of karma. It was about the fact that y'all were playing out a cycle while we were in captivity. That captivity is done. So understand, anything that y'all do against us now is against you. Like you already have a written testimony. The Most High already has a written testimony against all of you, but you're not making. And I feel like at this point, it's like, y'all already doomed. So y'all gonna just keep on adding to the, stockpile of sins you have to pay for. Like, you don't care and at this point, you're not doing it because it changes anything. You're doing it out of spite at this point, like a child throwing a tantrum. That's what Esau does. So Psalms 83 does. Again, going back to my point about how y'all destroyed Turtle Island. Y'all destroyed Turtle Island. Because deep down inside it doesn't belong to you. It's like an ungrateful person that comes into your home because they don't got nowhere else to go. I'm just using this as an example, that invades your space and they start disrupting things in your house, destroying things. Have you ever heard the saying that somebody that don't have nothing will help you lose everything? It's equivalent to that. That's why they treat the lands the way they do, because even in our captivity, even though we didn't know the truth about who we were as a people and that these lands belong to us, they still knew. They never was able to stay here in confidence. That's why they treated us the way they did. And they were also blood sacrificing us to their deities. That's why all these lynchings and hangings were taking place. Because they were blood sacrificing us to the demons that they made a pact with. They came over here acting like they were, it was little by little. Like all the other people who were in Psalms 83, it was a plot against us. That was a conspiracy. Psalms 83, if you really look at it, that was the conspiracy of these families, these Gentile families sitting down on what they did. And they infiltrated little by little. It didn't just happen when they came over here, the Spaniards and all that type of stuff. They were over there plotting against us. And they were sending people in little by little. That's how we fell. And they were casting spells and roots or whatever. It was up to us to look, to peep game. And there were prophecies that were going out years before this took place anyway. And I got that information from Judah. But it makes sense. Warning always comes before destruction. It wasn't like we were blindsided, so to speak. Some of us, I guess we were. I mean, but really, like, we are the children of Israel. We should have known better. But they were coming over here. The Gentile nations was coming over here little by little, infiltrating and doing stuff. We always had people among the Israelites who were just sheeple, that you would call a sheep, that you would look at as sort of like an unawakened soul. Those people that need a shepherd. Most people need something to shepherd them. And they infiltrated by targeting our people who were not as, who are prone to falling for those things outside of the law, statutes, and commandments of God. And that's how that all started. They started to like do spiritual rights to other gods and all that stuff. It started small. And then by the time we realized what was happening, we lost our land, and we was breaking the law, statutes, and commandments of God. But yeah, it was a process. That stuff that happened to us was a process when they were coming over here, all these Gentile nations that were coming over here little by little. And it was orchestrated by Esau's bloodline and Ishmael's bloodline. They are the two at the top of it. You know, it's interesting because these are the three main players from Abraham's loins. What, two out of the three, because you got Ishmael and then you got Esau. You got two people who feel an entitlement to the promise. You got two people that feel an entitlement to the promise. But yeah, that's how that all took place. Little by little, they was dismantling us. They know what angers our God. That's why all the sins and all the filth that you see in media and all these things like in music and in TV media or whatever is targeted towards our people. This is why when we do shameful things, it's broadcast all over the place because it makes the Gentile nations feel good. When we break the laws, statutes, and commandments of God, it does something different to us. It does something darker to us than it does to the Gentile nation because we are the people of the promise. We're the people of the law. So it does something very dark and twisted to us when we start falling into sin and breaking the law, statutes, and commandments of God. It does something very crazy to I can't explain it. But hey, we've all are not we're not perfect. We all sin, we all fall short of God's glory. But I mean to really like live your life like an unrepentant Gentile, a Gentile who is void of law and understanding of God's law. It does something very terrible to us. It really does something very corruptive to our spirits, our souls. But yeah, they knew all this. They knew about CI Atlas. They don't give a damn about these lands. They only care about what they can get out of it. That's why they all come over here and take and give nothing in return. Why would they give anything when these lands don't belong to them in the first place? Like I said, they know deep down inside who it belongs to. That's why they didn't have a problem with destroying it the way they did, the way they continue to do. They don't care about these lands. How they treat it show they never care. They only care what they can benefit from it. And they attack and target us continuously for centuries because they envy us. They know the land belongs to us. You're listening again. Y'all never stood in confidence on these lands. Never. I don't care how on top you think you are or how arrogant you want to be. No, you've never been confident about being over here because you know that it was only for a time for you to be over here. Y'all time is up over here. Y'all can target us. You can continue to hang us. You can continue to do all these lynches, all this other stuff that you do. Continue to be evil towards my people. Continue to do what you're doing. You're only making it worse. If any of you Gentiles, especially you Gentiles who are in higher ups, who are rich and powerful, if you had any common sense, you'd start, you know, pay, giving up some of your resources or whatever, or something to atone for your bloodline. Y'all have not done shadow work whatsoever. This is why your bloodlines are about to be destroyed and put in captivity. This is why y'all cry for a rapture. This is why you're begging to be taken in the skies. And you're not. You're not escaping judgment. How funny is it towards the end you get to live off of our land and then you think you get to check out? That's crazy word. No. We're not going into no tribulation with y'all. We already had our tribulation. We already went through our tribulation and it ended in 2019. You think it's a coincidence that coronavirus and all this other stuff started taking place? They've been working on these for centuries. They were setting things in place because they knew we would wake up. Man, when that thing turned on, when CI Atlas turned on, they gonna know, because you're gonna see all the other CI Atlas. It's not the only ship up there. They're just showing you, and it's obvious it's not the only one, because there's other nations that have been seeing those ships. And they all look different, and they all have their own little logo on it too, the Most High is showing me. So yeah, judgment really is here for y'all. Like, y'all messed up. Y'all really did. You Gentile nations are the reason why demons and unclean spirits are running rampant throughout the world. And that's another reason why all the lands are being destroyed too, because of demons and entities and fallen angels that y'all have made pacts with. Hate humans. They don't even like you. They don't like humans. But you made pacts with them because they give you things you want. Y'all been living off of a Visa card. Y'all be acting like we owe you, like we're in debt to you about something, when y'all the ones that really owe a credit card bill. Your credit card bill been piling up for centuries, and y'all gotta pay. I hope this word inspired by God has blessed someone today. I'll be back to make more. Y'all continue to stay healthy and blessed by the Most High. All praises to the Most High, and may the Lord continue to bless you and your household. Thank you for listening in. God bless.